Welcome into Steelers Latest, your daily spot for all news and information related to your Pittsburgh Steelers. Remember to like and subscribe to the channel if you enjoy the content to stay up to date with everything Steelers. Let's get rolling. The Steelers released their depth chart yesterday ahead of the preseason game this weekend. What are my initial thoughts? First off, no real surprises, honestly. Biggest thing was finding out where Jalen Ramsey is going to be playing, lining up on defense. He will be in the nickelback position, so he'll be our slot corner. He'll be holding it down. A lot of versatility he can have in that role. It will be exciting to see him in that role for the Steelers. We'll probably see him elsewhere also. I wouldn't be surprised if he still follows around a number one receiver. Wouldn't be too surprised because he is that good still. But probably the biggest surprise backup wise, Caleb Johnson behind Kenneth Gainwell. I think by the end of preseason this will change. But I guess Caleb Johnson, we know the Steeler way. Gotta earn your spot here under Mike Tomlin. So he's gonna make Caleb Johnson earn it and show him good solid preseason in-game reps to get ahead of Gainwell. Gainwell, the veteran, sits ahead of him right now. And also Roman Wilson behind Scotty Miller. I truly believe Roman Wilson will be better than Scotty Miller. Scotty Miller isn't anything too special. He's a solid, nothing really great as a player. But Roman Wilson, I think, has higher potential. So I think once again, a situation where the player will be elevated before the start of the season. Um, Still though, the defense, no real shots. Once again, the biggest thing was where Jalen Ramsey's going to play. And Jalen Ramsey's at nickel. And the defense star studded. You look at it on paper, you're like, wow, this could be fantastic. You look at the offense, you're like, oh, this is the side. There's questions. Once again, you rewind the clock about 4 years and you look at some of the names on offense, just the quarterback position. You keep all the names on that offense and you rewind the clock 4 years for the quarterback, and you're like, this is great offense. But still, questions around the offense that will really be who determines how this season is. If they can just be good enough, they just have to be the 15th best offense in the league, in my opinion, for this team to have a chance to win a playoff game for the first time in years. But let's talk about Jack Sawyer and TJ Watt. As Jack Sawyer, PJ's backup, has become a little buddy with TJ Watt. Not a bad move. Got to get close to the defensive player of the year, the best defensive player in the league. I know some people will argue that, but us Steelers fans know the truth. We're truthers. TJ truthers. TJ is the best player. Jack Sawyer, though, the rookie from Ohio State, had a big play in the semifinal game in that college football playoff run Ohio State had. Jack Sawyer getting buddy, trying to learn everything possible from TJ Watt. Once again, something we love to hear from Jack Sawyer. He talks about how it's such a great opportunity to have veterans like Cam Hayward, TJ Watt, and Alex Highsmith in the same building on the same defensive line as him, people he can learn from. This is something you want to hear. And he's been compared to the Energizer Bunny. Man never loses stamina out on the field, it feels like. So I think he's going to be one to watch this first week of preseason against Jacksonville. I'm really excited to see this game and how it all plays out. Jack Sawyer, though, will be someone I keep an eye on for that game. And I'm just excited to see his development. If he can give TJ a little bit of rest here and there in games and give productive reps when he's in there, that's always a positive. But let's move back to Terry McLaurin as we have figured out the price that it might take for the Steelers to secure Terry McLaurin. What would it be? The Commanders. Mike the Fibo of the Athletic said the Commanders would most likely want a pick plus a player, and he said Roman Wilson and a third round pick was his trade package that could get the deal done. And I'm not gonna lie, if that's all it really takes, a third round pick, we have 3 third round picks already next year. So getting rid of one, isn't that detrimental to the team's future success? Roman Wilson, I think, is in value a little more detrimental, but you're replacing him with already a star wide receiver as a known product where Roman Wilson is an unknown still because of the injury last year. Um, the real question at this point comes down to if the Steelers are willing to pay a second receiver $30+ million a year. Uh, in the past, the Steelers haven't been that way at all, but it's hard to predict this new kind of guard, the new way, the new Steeler way of the offseason after such a eventful offseason this year. It's hard to know if we're gonna fall back to our traditions and just not take a risk here once again. It would be kind of a big risk because he could leave after a year. You lose your unknown who could develop into a star wide receiver in Roman Wilson. So it all comes down to if you're willing to pay Terry McLaurin, in my opinion. But we have been throwing cash around, so it's not out of the realm of possibility because we also don't have a franchise quarterback that we're paying. The next quarterback is probably going to be someone we draft again. So they're going to be on a rookie deal, kind of getting. We'll have a quarterback for like half off price, basically. So we can kind of dabble around everywhere else and spread the money everywhere else, even though we are paying TJ Watt now the most all time at a non quarterback position. Let's wrap up this show though with some injury updates. Sad one here. Someone I'm really high on. Will Howard fractured his hand. Will be out at least 3 weeks. So probably gonna miss all of preseason. We're not gonna see any Will Howard all year long, basically, is what I'm hearing. Because more than likely we're not gonna see him in the regular season. This was our opportunity to get our eyes on Will Howard, and it's tragic that the fractured hand will probably take that away from us. Also, defensive tackle Dean Lowry tore his ACL last week. He's going to be out for the season. Alex Highsmith is going to be day to day. We talked about his groin injury yesterday. He's probably not going to play this weekend. I wasn't expecting many starters to play this weekend, but we can definitely probably can rule him out. And Jonnu Smith, he's dealing with knee soreness right now, so probably another person we can rule out for the game this weekend, just because you want to play it safe here in the early weeks of preseason. There's still 2 more games after the first week, so just take it easy. Let these guys heal up. We need them when the games start to matter. But that has been it from Steelers Latest. I've been your host, Cole Denis, and I will see you tomorrow.